News.com, family members of Edna still searching for a man who went missing mid-January.
The city of El Paso preparing for an influx of migrants as Title 42 set to end next week.
And House Speaker Dade Phelan orders state police to remove LGBTQ advocates from the speaker floor.
This warm, moist air is moving into the crossroads. It comes with consequences. That's right. We're looking at more overnight fog. We'll talk all about it. But first, here's Gina.
El Campo versus Cuero. It's a battle of the birds for the area round of playoffs. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10.
This is breaking news from 25 News Now.
Breaking news tonight, the man believed to be the suspect in 5 San Jacinto County murders now in custody after a manhunt. Authorities say a person believed to be 38-year-old Francisco Oropesa arrested in the city of Cut and Shoot, that's north of Houston. Authorities awaiting fingerprints to confirm the person arrested is Oropesa. Authorities say he is in the Montgomery County Jail, charged with first-degree murder. You see the Montgomery County Sheriff and the San Jacinto County Sheriff at a news conference tonight. Oropesa was deported from the United States 4 times.
Family members of a missing man in Edna are looking for answers. Adam Rodriguez III was last seen mid-January. He's 46 years old, 6 feet tall, and has a large scar on his head. Family members believe Rodriguez was met with foul play. Rodriguez's father died last August, but his last interaction with family members was positive and indicated no major issues. The only leads include someone answering the cell phone belonging to Rodriguez and a vehicle lead in Virginia.
Rodriguez may be driving a gray Ford Escape. If you have any information, authorities in Jackson County want to hear from you. You can reach them at 361-782-3371.
Local leaders in El Paso are preparing for May 11th when the CDC's Title 42 pandemic order is set to end. They are expecting a surge of refugees once it's no longer restricting movement at the southern border.
There's already hundreds of migrants living around a downtown El Paso church.
Here at Sacred Heart Church, hundreds of migrants have been filling the walkways around it. Some tell me they have been here for days, eating, sleeping, and waiting. For now, it takes staying here until we can fix our papers, our documents, to be able to travel to our destination. It could be 2-3 days, or a week, or more. Some say they have been here for days, enduring poor living conditions. It's difficult to live on the street because it's very cold. Right now, we can't even sleep because it's too hot. We sleep on the street, on the floor. To get to the borderland, some say they surrendered to Border Patrol. Others say they crossed through a hole in the fence. We are confronted by a lot of obstacles because most of us have tried to do things legally. But the CBP One app is not working, so some have opted to pass through the holes. ABC7 asked Border Patrol what their operations and regulations are for migrants congregating at the church, and they replied in part with this statement. CBP is responsible for securing the U.S. border between ports of entry, uses a layered approach that includes patrolling the border itself, nearby areas and neighborhoods, and conducting checkpoints, both stationary and temporary, end quote. They added agents conduct enforcement actions in accordance with DHS policy. However, there are protected areas that Border Patrol agents will have limited enforcement access. Some of those include schools, churches, and medical facilities. Still, they say when agents encounter a non-citizen migrant without proof they have entered the country illegally, they will be detained and processed. Some migrants tell me they intend to stay here until their application process for asylum is complete. They tell me they plan to leave El Paso and move elsewhere. For now, reporting in front of Sacred Heart Church, Brianna Perez, ABC7.
And with that, here is your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote right now. The question is, will the troops be enough support for the border after Title 42 ends? Yes or no? We take a look at these results. 10% say yes and 90% stand at no. Thank you for participating. Visit us tomorrow for our latest viewer poll. Now, the Texas Tribune reports Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan abruptly cleared the public from the Chambers Gallery today after LGBTQ parents of transgender kids chanted in opposition of a bill which would ban transition-related care for children. He ordered state police to clear the gallery as Senate Bill 14 came to the House floor. An expected vote on the bill was delayed until later in the week after a concern was raised. State police cleared the gallery. Protesters continued to chant in the lobby outside. Troopers handcuffed one person.
Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Howie Gordon sitting in for Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis, who is on assignment. Howie, mostly a sunny day, but you're saying we're going to get fog here in a few hours?
Yeah, we're starting to see some moisture move in to the crossroads. As that high continues to move up to the east, we'll start to see more and more of this moisture. But yeah, visibility right now, not too bad. But here's what we're looking at. Winds are starting to calm, and that's helping with the fog. And as that moisture moves in, gets trapped in lower levels, overnight, yeah, some visibility's getting taken down to a mile or less. So you want to drive on the slower side. Cliff, if you're headed to the gym early, yeah, might have some fog out there, so be careful. 64 overnight, again, late night fog. We'll talk more about the fog, possible showers, and our warm-up coming up very soon. Don, Karina?
Howie, thank you. Illinois State Police asking for the public's help in identifying victims in the deadly pileup Monday on Interstate 55. The interstate now open at the scene where some 70 vehicles got caught in a dust storm. 6 people died, at least 30 others hurt after drivers were blinded by dust in the area. Authorities believe they have identified at least 4 of those killed. Police are asking for the public's help in identifying possible victims. A man is in police custody after firing a shot at a Memphis TV station today. Police said the man entered the Fox 13 news station around 11 a.m. and wanted to speak to the news team. The man ended up firing a shot into glass at the station with an AR-style rifle. He fled to a nearby restaurant and sheltered inside. Authorities said no one was hurt in the shooting.
He wanted to meet with media. He had a message to send out. Obviously, he was armed at the time, so it caused a little bit of concern on the part of Fox News. I don't know whether it was an intentional firing. This was not an active shooter situation, or if it was an accidental shooting. But a round was fired into the building. There was nobody struck inside the building. The round impacted glass, then impacted the desk.
The suspect taken into custody just after 1 p.m. after crisis negotiators were able to convince him to turn himself in.
Trump accuser Jessica Leeds spoke this afternoon after taking the stand in the E. Jean Carroll civil trial against Donald Trump earlier today. She said the former president sexually assaulted her on a flight to New York in 1978 or 1979. The retired stockbroker is one of several women who have accused Trump of sexual misconduct. After her testimony, Leeds emphasized the inappropriate sexual behavior outside the courthouse. She went public with her claim against Trump to the New York Times in 2016.
I also would like to encourage anyone who has suffered sexual aggression to know they are not alone and they can speak up. It seems society and perpetrators won't get the message of how damaging aggression is until it becomes apparent and it's so rampant.
Trump will not be testifying in the trial E. Jean Carroll has brought against him.
President Biden's invitation to congressional leaders to discuss the U.S. debt ceiling accepted by U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. His invitation to him and 3 other officials comes hours after the Treasury Secretary warned the U.S. could be in a debt default by June 1st. House Republicans want to attach spending cuts to a debt ceiling increase, but Democrats insist no negotiations between paying the country's bill or defaulting. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Police still investigating the DUI crash in South Carolina that killed a bride on her wedding night.
Also ahead, Hollywood writers go on strike after failing to reach an agreement with studios over new contracts.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information about a burglary of a building. On Friday, March 24th, between midnight and 2 a.m., two offenders wearing light-colored hoodies entered a business in the 200 block of Winter Drive. A hole was cut in a metal building to give access to the inside, and cash was taken. If you have any information about the burglary of a building, call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges filed, you could earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
My name is Adarius McCormick, and I want you to know about my new segment, Homemade with Adarius. I will interview amazing people and showcase intriguing places that may be new to you in the Crossroads. Want to show off something homemade? Email us at homemade@victoriatelevision.com. See my new segment on Crossroads Today YouTube channel and Crossroads Today Plus. You do not want to miss this.
CCA Texas and industry leaders have built the largest saltwater redfish, spotted sea trout, and southern flounder hatchery system in the world, releasing nearly 1 billion fingerlings into our Texas bays. Adult broodstock are spawned in tanks. Hundreds of thousands of fingerlings are raised in grow-out ponds and released into bays to ensure we have healthy populations for future generations. Join CCA today and help us make a difference.
What is Optimum's greatest offer of all time? Introducing Optimum Complete. Starting at only $45 a month, combine 2 great services for one low price. Get fast, award-winning Optimum Internet with 99.9% reliability and whole home Wi-Fi coverage. Plus, Optimum Mobile is on America's largest 5G network. It's the Optimum Go. Our greatest offer of all time. Optimum Complete combines fast internet with 5G mobile for as low as $45 a month. Call, click, or visit a store today. Get closer, go farther with Optimum.
The Victoria Television Group is proud to honor our veterans, and we need your entries. Each month, we'll acknowledge a new veteran to salute. To submit, go to the Military Hero page on CrossroadsToday.com and help us recognize the deserving servicemen and women in our community.
When you don't keep your eyes on what you're doing, it can be downright dangerous to you and others, especially when you're behind the wheel. Put your phone down. Heads up, Texas.
The moment that my eyes landed on my Ford Escape, I knew it was the one. I wanted a fun vehicle. I really love my moonroof. I'm able to get really nice natural light. The Apple CarPlay, I use that all the time. It has really nice speakers to have a mini concert in your car. My name is Divina y me encanta mi Ford Escape.
Drive Escape with 0% plus 1,000 cash plus up to 500 toward accessories. Includes complimentary maintenance.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Police in Folly Beach, South Carolina continue the investigation into a DUI crash killing a bride on her wedding night. Blood samples are being sent to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to see how much alcohol or other substances were in the suspect's blood. A 25-year-old woman faces 3 counts of felony DUI resulting in great bodily injury and/or death. She was driving a rental car Friday night when she rear-ended a golf cart carrying a newlywed couple and 2 other passengers. The bride, 34-year-old Samantha Miller, was killed.
Coming on scene and seeing a cart that is driven clearly, you know, they had signs on it talking about just being married. She was in a wedding type dress. Those are the things that, you know, as a responding officer, you know, you see those things and you try to, you know, maintain professionalism and do your job, but you can't help but think about that, and it affects you.
The police department is also serving search warrants at different locations for information on bars the suspect was possibly at before the crash. Officers are working with peer support groups, helping them to grapple with the heartbreaking scene they responded to.
Vermont is the first state to allow terminally ill people from out of state to take advantage of its medically assisted suicide law. Today, Vermont's governor signed a bill removing the residency requirement from the existing law. Also, a settlement was reached with a Connecticut woman living with terminal cancer to allow her to take advantage of Vermont's law. However, critics fear without the residency requirement, states risk becoming assisted suicide tourist destinations.
Production of some TV shows and movies are going on hold.
More than 11,000 union screenwriters around the country going on strike after failing to agree with the TV networks and studios on a new contract.
Screenwriters coast to coast going on strike Tuesday afternoon. Nearly 12,000 members of the Writers Guild Union starting to picket. The union and an association of media companies failed to agree to new contract terms.
Guillermo speaks better Hebrew than George Santos.
Scripted shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live, which is owned by ABC's parent company Disney, and other late-night favorites will start showing reruns until an agreement is reached between the union and the TV networks and studios.
I need my writers. I need them real bad. Yeah, I got no show without my writers.
Writers are calling not just for pay increases, but how they are paid.
Writers now are no longer paid as much as they used to be. They're paid for shorter series. And they're not seeing any of the residuals that you used to see back in the old days.
Some writers say streaming platforms and AI have transformed the media landscape for the worse. With the lack of a regular seasonal calendar, it has hurt how long writers are paid.
The industry has changed in huge ways in the last 5 or 10 years that have made it increasingly difficult for screenwriting to be a stable middle-class career.
In 2007, Hollywood writers entered a full-fledged strike that lasted 100 days, also hurting local economies. This strike likely to cause an impact in LA, New York, and Georgia, where many shows and films are produced.
If this starts going on a bit, the networks are not going to be able to put together their shows for the fall.
The Alliance of Media says that it did offer writers a generous compensation increase, but they are aware and they're fully committed to reaching a mutually beneficial deal. At this point, there's no word on how long this strike is expected to last. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Tufts Medical Center, Massachusetts, reached a major milestone on Tuesday in the pandemic. The hospital does not have any COVID-19 inpatients. As of this morning, a spokesperson said that for the first time since March 21st, 2020, the hospital has no COVID-19 inpatients. The first case of COVID-19 in Massachusetts that was confirmed by the Department of Public Health was in a UMass Boston student who had just traveled from Wuhan, China. The case was announced on February 1st, 2020.
We started becoming a little cloudier, but we're going to be a little foggier as well. I'll talk about that coming up in just a bit.
Your parents threw you out, and then you went to live in your car.
Yes. Times were hard.
He calls me up. He goes, I have no place to go, and I felt sorry for him.
But after making himself at home.
Here he's taking hour-long showers. Okay, he's smoking in my house. Okay, he's playing loud music all night long.
He made it hard for her.
He goes, well, I'm going to be a squatter in your house, and I'm not going to leave, and I'm not going to do anything.
Mr. Pastore, this is not going to be easy.
Next, Judge Judy.
I'm excited to say the Sherry Show was nominated for 4 Wednesday, we're all new with The View's Sunny Hostin.
Are you a new AT&T customer looking to upgrade your phone? You're trapped, locked into your contract for 3 years. And your phone is locked into their network too. No 2-year upgrade for you, Jonathan. But T-Mobile has a way out. Introducing the Easy Unlock. Bring your AT&T locked phone and T-Mobile will pay it off and give you one of the latest 5G smartphones free. Plus, next time you're ready for an upgrade a year earlier. You're free now, little one. So are you. Just so we're clear, I did trip on purpose for comedy.
Free your phone now at T-Mobile.
Hello, my name is Maclovio Perez. My friends call me Mac. I'm the new chief meteorologist at 25 News Now. In the weather world, our job is to save lives and property. Service is very important, and the people need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And if they don't do any one of those, then you're not going to be on TV for very long. There's my forecast for the summer. Very hot and a very active storm season. Write that down. Let me know how I did at the end of the season.
When you don't keep your eyes on what you're doing, it can be downright dangerous to you and others, especially when you're behind the wheel. Put your phone down. Heads up, Texas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
USA Foundation Repair, in conjunction with 25 News Now, brings you our Pledge of Allegiance every weekday morning. It's your time to reflect and celebrate our greatness as a country, to be a patriot, and to give thanks for living in the best country in the world. And it all began when you recite our pledge. Brought to you by USA Foundation Repair and 25 News Now.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so winds slightly breezy, maybe 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gradual warm up, most notably mornings and nights. No more 50s. We could be staying in the 70s. And again, fog late and fog early for tomorrow. What do we do today? Okay, this changed because it updated. Earlier today, several hours ago, the high was 79. Officially now, we did make it up to 81. A little cooler with the cloud cover blocking out the sun's rays. But look what happened in 1964. We could be as warm as 101 degrees when it was back then. So the moisture moving in, still getting trapped under the influence of high pressure. Right now, visibility not too bad. But what's going to happen is this moisture will continue to move inland. It's going to get trapped, and visibility's going to get taken down. So if you're driving to work, school, or tonight, yes, be careful. You want to drive on the safer and the slower side. Visibilities at times could be 1 mile or less. Looks to start burning off maybe a little after 8 o'clock in that 9 o'clock range. Okay, as the moisture moves in though, a couple days ago, our atmosphere was wrenched out by the cold front and dew points, moisture levels got knocked down, but now they're starting to rebound, the warm moisture pushing up from the Gulf. What does that mean? Okay, yeah, we'll be 88, 90 degrees for highs, but those lows that were hitting 56, 55 degrees, those are going to start staying in the low to even the mid 70s. That's not good for comfortability or sleeping weather. So that's right, these dew points on the rise after getting knocked down into the 20s and the 30s just a couple days ago. But again, they're rebounding very nicely. Now, I talked and showed you everything about the fog. Another thing helping with the fog is these winds are starting to calm. There'll be 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 mile per hour winds at best. That is going to contribute to fog overnight and into the morning. All right, high pressure still close enough to influence our atmosphere, but yeah, moisture's moving in. That allowed for some cloud cover. Not enough lift or forcing, though, to really bring anything in the way of rain. Now, we did see some Virgo. What does that mean? The radar was showing some scans of the green, the rain, but most of it evaporating before reaching Earth's surface, so really not really seeing the rain. The radar's just picking it up. But what's going to happen? The high is going to start moving off to the east. Its influence will be less and become less and less. Then this boundary headed our way as it runs into moisture close or near or into the crossroads. It's going to create lift along the boundary, winds, and then with the moisture, yeah, we're under a marginal risk for severe weather. That's a 1 out of 5, but Thursday could see some strong storms, maybe even bringing us some heavy downpour. All right, here's another look at our future tracker. Here's what we have. So basically, when we get closer to Thursday, when that boundary starts to come in, that's our best shot at some rain. And once again, potentially bringing us some hardcore heavy downpour. That's right. You see the green and the rain, but hey, we're a couple days from now, we'll continue to iron out the details. Here's our marine forecast. So 71 degrees for the water, seas occasionally at 4 feet. That's going to keep our bays on the choppy side. Now, winds picking up a little bit. For the most part, water anywhere between 70 and 80 degrees at times. So this is good for your fishing or your recreation out there as we move into Thursday. But again, once again, Thursday, yeah, that's bringing us closer to some rain activity. Future visibility, once again, that fog comes in overnight, might linger around till about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. 64 overnight, late night fog, and then early fog again. Be careful on your way to work or to school. Looking ahead, again, as that moisture moves in, some rain chances increase here and there, but look at our overnight temperatures once again, staying in the 70s. That's not good sleeping weather. But that is enough with our weather, because now our app at crossroadstoday.com is available on Androids and iPhones and is absolutely free of charge. All right, enough of me. Let's go to sports with Gino.
Thanks, Howie. More UHV athletes are winning RRAC honors. That and more after the break.
News Center 25 at 6 and 10 is also heard on KVNN 1340 AM, Victoria's News Network.
Now, with so much on the line, more Americans are turning to David Muir and ABC's World News Tonight than any other newscast across all of television.
Drink it too fast. Your brain may not always like just how refreshingly cold it is. Too slow, and you've got a melted beverage. You've got to respect a drink that makes you sip at its pace.
There's no better way to cool down than with this cool deal. Get a medium frozen Coke, frozen Dr. Pepper, or frozen Fanta for just $1.79. Only at McDonald's.
When living with a neuromotor disability, simple tasks can feel impossible. But there's hope, and it's close to home. The Cole Center at Building Kids Steps has brought the Locomat Pro and Armeo Spring to the Crossroads area. These devices help increase mobility in those living with Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, MS, or are recovering from stroke and spinal cord injuries. At the Cole Center, there's hope for a brighter future. To learn more, visit buildingkidsteps.com.
My name's Danny, and I absolutely love my F-150. I bought this particular truck because of the Blue Cruise. You literally let go of your hands. It just centers the car in the lane, follows the person in front of me, keeps a safe distance. In my experience, the Ford F-150 is the best in Texas.
Lease F-150 for $499 a month or choose 0% financing. Both include up to 1,000 toward accessories and complimentary maintenance.
Ford is the best in Texas.
At Crossroads, a former Las Vegas Raider football player said he's going to plead guilty and will serve serious time in a state prison. Henry Ruggs told a judge that he will admit to drunk driving and causing a crash which killed a woman. The plea deal will send the 24-year-old to a state prison for 10 or 3 years, potentially more. The victim, Tina Tintor, was hit by Ruggs and he had a blood alcohol level of twice the legal limit. Ruggs was released by the Raiders shortly after the crash, but before the crash, the former Alabama receiver had signed a 4-year rookie contract reported to be worth more than $16 million. More UHV athletes are being named as Players of the Week in the Red River Athletic Conference. 2 Crossroads athletes sweep the weekly awards. Yoakum's own Lauren Chaco won her first honors of the year as Player of the Week. Shiner's Cameron Cowan wins her 3rd RRAC Pitcher of the Week award. The second baseman hit the go-ahead run against TAMU San Antonio and had 4 RBIs and hit for .455. Teammate Cowan tied UHV's all-time shutout mark with 13 and completed her 37th complete game. She led UHV to 2 wins and has an ERA of less than a run and has 18 strikeouts over 16 innings of play. UHV will open play in the RRAC tournament on Thursday. Their opponent is yet to be determined. It's a battle of the birds between the 2 playoff teams, the El Campo Ladybirds and the Cuero Lady Gobblers. The El Campo Ladybirds dominated the Brazosport Exporters, outscoring them 26-8 in the 2-game sweep. The Lady Gobblers also dominated, scoring 15 runs with the help of multiple home runs. Now the 2 Crossroads area teams will fight in a 3-game series, which starts on Friday. Game 2 and 3, if needed, will be on Saturday starting at noon. Both teams have 27 wins, so it looks like it'll be a good series. The Gobbler baseball team will head to Marion to take on Bernie Greyhounds on Friday. This will be a 3-game series with Game 1 starting at 7. Game 2 will be Saturday at 2 o'clock, and if needed, Game 3 will follow shortly after. Cuero is coming off a high-scoring sweep over Gonzales. Cuero is the underdog in this matchup, though, as the Greyhounds finish first in district. Cuero has a record of 17-12. Bernie is 26-4. The Cuero Gobblers football team are coming off a deep playoff run in the football playoffs, and 4 stars on that team are going to show off their skills one more time for the Gobblers. 4 Gobblers and our linebackers, including Sean Burks, defensive lineman Javari Bacon, running back Tyson Williams, and wide receiver Dason Barea. This will be the last time that each of these stars will have the C on their helmet. The athletes are competing in the Coastal Bend Coaches Association All-Star Game in Corpus Christi. The game will be on May 20th at 7 p.m. in Buck Stadium. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gino. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, 2 teens were rescued from a tunnel in New Jersey.
Have a legal question that you don't have the answer to? Crossroads Law is here to help. The esteemed lawyers of the Cole, Easley & Skiba law firm are here to answer them. Submit your questions to crossroadstoday.com. This is a free service where you can find practical answers about real-life situations you might have encountered. Crossroads Law is a service of the Victoria Television Group and the law firm of Cole, Easley & Skiba, advocates of trial by jury. Stay up to date with what's happening in the Crossroads by downloading the Crossroads Today mobile app. You'll get instant alerts to your phone or tablet the minute breaking news or weather happens. Only the free Crossroads Today mobile app features weather updates for local sports. The Crossroads Today app gives you the ability to stream our daily newscasts when you're on the go and share pictures or tips straight to our newsroom and so much more. Brought to you locally by Prosperity Bank with 12 locations serving the Crossroads area.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
The newest member of Mexico's Canine Search and Rescue team arrives all the way from Turkey. Turkey sent a puppy as a thank you gift to the Mexican military for all their help during the search and rescue efforts following the devastating earthquake on February 6. One of the Mexican dogs, named Portillo, died during his mission in Turkey. The public was invited to vote on the 3-month-old puppy's name.
April showers is bringing May snowstorms in Marquette, Michigan. Areas of the county and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan having over 14 inches of snow in the past 2 days. The early spring snowstorm has caused power outages, unsafe driving conditions, and school closures. Ice and snow brought down trees over roadways and down power lines, causing outages in some areas. The snowfall expected to last through Tuesday. I tell you what, winter storms, we've had to deal with something like, freezes, some snow, but nothing like that, and nothing in early May. How do they get through that?
It's been, other than a few days, it's been in the 80s, pushing 90 since Valentine's Day here. It's a little different down here when you go up north towards the Canadian border. But yeah, that's how do they do that? That's why I moved down here, Don and Karina. I can't deal with winter.
You love 7 inches of snow in 2 days, don't you? I know that.
For 2 days, that's all I want to be around it. After that, I want to be back down here by the beaches and the sunshine. But we do deal with something else around here. They have it up there too. But we're dealing with some fog. Moisture's moved in. Visibilities, getting taken down. So look what we have here. Visibility's at 1 mile, so overnight really going to start amping up in terms of visibility going down. And then it starts to go maybe a little better, maybe towards 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll be 64 overnight, mostly cloudy again, late night fog, and we get that early fog in the morning as we warm up to 82 degrees later tomorrow. Looking ahead, here is what we have. Look at some of these nights and mornings. Temperatures staying around the mid-70s, so definitely a warm up. Don, Karina?
Thank you, Howie. Finally tonight, 2 teens in New Jersey rescued from a tunnel. A fire lieutenant swam into the tunnel to rescue the 2 14-year-olds on Sunday. The tunnel was passable when the teens first walked in, but storm water rushed in from both sides, trapping them in the middle. They were able to get a cell signal 200 feet underground to call 911. The Edgewater train tunnel has not been used for 60 years. People sometimes walk through it to explore a key spot on a website called Weird NJ.
Said they made their way in, and they said they all of a sudden hit water and couldn't go anymore, and they said they couldn't go back.
The teens weren't hurt, and for that, they can thank the Edgewater's Elite Water Rescue Team.
That's so scary. And you know, since it is in the east, that water was cold.
It looks mucky too.
Muddy and cold and everything, and that's
thank goodness for a cell phone coverage, because I got on the wrong side of town. I can't get through. They're under the water. You know, God bless.
All right.
That's right. Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on Crossroads Today Plus.
Join Carolina Astorine and meteorologist Trey Mining for 25 News Now. Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody. Watch for that fog.